Gentlemen, it is now 6 p.m. Time to convene the Roy City Council meeting for this evening, the 29th day of August, 2017. Convened at 6 p.m. All council members are present and in their seats. We will have a pledge of allegiance this evening led by Council Member Hilton, and a moment of silence thereafter by Council Member Hilton.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join with me for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hilton. Next item on the agenda is public comments. This will be the time anyone in the audience would like to make comments or come forward and address the city council. Please do so.
It's not a complaint, it's a shout out. Wanted to say thank you to the leaders, Joe Paul, 3727 West, 5700 South, to the leaders of Roy and to the Parks and Rec Department. They did a great job down there at the pickleball courts down at Emma Russell. Good turnout. I walk that park almost daily, and there's always people there. So good addition to the city. I know I've heard a lot of people say, and we've talked about that going into North Park. I think people have the option, in a couple of nights to talk about that, but I think that was a great addition. So good job to all those that were involved in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Anyone else in the audience, please come forward, state your name and address.
My name's Ralph Prettyman, 3998 South, 2275 West, across from the train station. I'm here to talk about a blue house with a goat that I'm sure a lot of you know about. Animal control has been called, police have been called, fire department has been called when he has a big fire burning trash in the backyard. Both houses on each side of him are for sale, and everybody that comes and looks at that house in the yard and leaves. They don't make any offers or anything. There's a bunch, there must be 50 pink flamingos in the front yard, plastic. Some on the roof. There was a couch on the roof at one time. I'm not sure if it's still there. It's just a mess. I have pictures of the goats and all the trash in the yard, and nothing ever seems to be done. I understand now he has some kind of paper he got that says the goat is a service animal or something. So we've been told that if he gets 3 citations for it being out, that the goat can go to Burger Bar or something, I don't know. But it's just been a mess. The last time the police were out, we didn't even give them the address, they just went straight to his house. And they were talking and laughing in the front yard, and then he comes to me and doesn't look to see about the damage or anything. He just tells us that we don't know the whole story. And it's been going on for over a year. We've had zoning, we've had animal control, police, and like I say, the fire department's been out the fires. He had a barrel out in the front yard burning trash. And it's just all kinds of things going on. The people on the other side of him that have their house for sale say they can't even go out in the backyard because of the ammonia smell from the goat or the fumes when he throws bicycle tires or whatever trash into the fire. We had a neighbor go across and at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning and tell him to put his fire out because it was so big. And he started swearing at her. And it's just been a mess for quite a while. I don't know what can be done, if anything.
It is being worked on.
Go ahead, Jason.
Was it Ralph?
Yes.
Yeah, so Ralph, we understand your issues and your neighbor's issues. We understand the house and the resident very well.
I figured you knew
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, so we do have a great nuisance policy. We are enforcing every situation that comes. And when police are called out, they are going through the steps. So just be patient, bear with us. We are aware of it and we are taking action accordingly.
Could I say something about the police going out there? He is,
Come on up, give your name and address.
Joyce, I'm his wife.
Okay.
We have all, the neighbor on the other side of him that's trying to sell his house. He was over the other day and he says whenever the police go out there and talk to him, he's called out for something, they're called out for something, he will talk to them, be very nice to them, and the minute they leave, he flips them off. This is the way, what we're dealing with him. And that night that we called the police out again, a couple of weeks ago, my 3 grandkids had walked down to our house and the 3-year-old was being chased by this goat and she was scared to death. And it doesn't bother him. And he comes in our yard, he gets loose, comes in our yard. That night, we had a heck of a time getting him out of our yard. He was chewing my plants, broke a solar light, and the guy doesn't do anything about it. So, I don't know what we're gonna do with him.
If anytime if that goat's loose, if you get pictures of that.
Oh, we do, we have
Hey,
pictures.
if you can bring those into our prosecutor, we'll take care of that.
Okay.
We've already cited him right now, so there is a criminal
Yeah, he's
case.
been cited, because animal control does stop over at our house, because she's the one that stopped and got the witness papers the last time it happened.
But every time you see something like that, if you can take a picture and document that.
We are.
And come in and meet with our prosecutor, that'd be great, okay?
Okay, thanks a lot.
Well,
But
one
usually,
thing
I
we
just
may
want to
want to
say,
do,
usually
Ann,
it's after hours, so they tell us to call the police about it.
Right, that would be great, but what I'm telling you with pictures, recordings, anything like that is really good evidence in court. So when it's your word against his, you've got the proof with it, and that's what helps sell the case.
And we
to the
just bring
judge.
him over here?
Yes.
Right. I know this has been going on for a long time, you guys as neighbors and citizens of the neighborhood, and it upsets you, and I get that. But you have to understand, we as a city, we're doing what we can do legally,
Oh, we understand
okay?
that.
And once it's cited, it does go through the court system, and sometimes the court process takes longer than what we'd like it to do, but that's the proper place to deal with this now. And as Andy said, any evidence you have, please turn in to the city prosecutor, so it just makes the case stronger, okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the council this evening? Seeing none, we will move forward. Consent items, approval of the July 18th, 2017 City Council minute meeting, or minutes. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes, or any corrections to the minutes?
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the July 18th city council minutes.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I have a question. Is there any way that we can get these minutes sooner?
You can.
So they're not so...
Yeah, it depends on the lady that transcribes them, but I can get you at the next city council meeting, we'll approve several, so that we'll get up to date.
They're getting stale, I can't remember.
Next item is action items, and I'm going to combine these for vote. Canvass of the 2017 municipal primary election results. Consideration of resolution number 1732 authorizing representatives of the city to contact business accounts at Zions First National Bank. Consideration of ordinance number 1712 updating the Roy City Fire Code. And consideration of resolution number 1733 declaring certain property as surplus and authorizing its sale. Do we have a motion on the action items?
You're gonna have to do some of these individually because they're resolutions.
Yeah, they're gonna need roll call votes.
They, on the action items, you can do a roll call vote for all of
All
them.
of them, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
If you have a specific item, like if you want me to break down the canvas of the election, we can do that. And then you can vote, or if you want to pull some out and do them separate, you can also do that.
Motion to approve the action items is listed.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
It's a roll call
Aye.
vote.
Roll call.
I could have one question. This, Jeff, maybe you can help me on the resolution of the fire code.
That's what I want.
Just want to pull that item?
Okay,
Yep.
Pull that.
I'll pull my motion, we'll go ahead and talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
That's fine.
I wasn't quite sure how that was going to work, but, and it's very brief, it's not anything
No,
big.
go ahead.
No problem.
On the second to last page, 9-2-6, appeals process. Third line down, it says the applicant may appeal the decision to the fire chief and city manager.
That's correct.
So they have to do both of them, it's not an and/or.
It's not, yeah, it's written as not, it's not an and/or, it would be both, and that just gives, that's just the appeals process. So if either permit's not granted or someone wants to challenge either myself or the fire chief or whoever makes a challenge on the fire code or makes a decision on the fire code and wants to challenge that, then that allows that person to get with both myself and the city manager to either say, no, we don't feel that the fire code's being looked at correctly or has been used in a wrong manner, and allows them to voice that or that opinion, and then we would review that and make that decision, but it would be both. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, having said that, let me just ask this question. There was purposely, you took out the Board of Adjustments out of the policy. And the reason why, obviously, is because we went to an appeal authority. But I guess the city has chosen not to use the appeal authority in this case. Is there a reason why?
I believe, Bob, because it's a citation. The citation goes through court, through the judge.
That is correct.
That's
Okay.
why.
So, yeah, so basically all this would, so if a citation would be issued, then it would go through the court. And that's the biggest change to the fire code. We've never had that. That's new for our city. But it brings us up to date with what most municipalities and most special service districts are doing nowadays. And the fire code is specifically written as a criminal code. So it allows us to issue those citations, which will kind of help with some of the problems that you've already heard tonight. We've had a lot of being able to flex muscle with some of those issues, but really haven't been able to bring those issues to court. So this will kind of fix some of that. But the appeals process that's listed into the fire code just allows someone due process if they feel that we interpreted the code incorrectly, allows them to voice that opinion, then allows us to say, no, we still feel that we interpreted the code correctly.
Okay, makes sense. Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's what I just wanted, just to get some,
Clarification on that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just one other thing, at 9-2-7,
Yep.
a wonderful sentence of, 15 lines? But about halfway down, after in red where it says, fire chief, fire marshal, deputy chief, or by the court of competent jurisdiction within the time fixed herein shall, is that supposed to be severely or severally, as it is stated here?
It's a really good
It
question.
just didn't make sense to me to have it said severally.
I didn't draft it, my guess is severally.
Yeah.
Severally or severely?
That severally would be what
Okay.
it's got to be, so we could
Okay,
have
just
that.
didn't, yeah, and maybe my brain went dead after the first 8-9 lines of that sentence, but just like, okay, of course, some of these don't make sense to me anyway when I read them.
Yeah.
Because they're ordinances, but, okay, I just wanted to clarify that too. So, all right. Those are the only questions I
So
had.
the biggest change was with the appeals and the penalty process, right?
Yeah, we've always
Okay.
had an appeals type process.
Right.
This is just bringing it up to basically more current with what other municipalities and special service districts are doing. And then the actual penalty phase, or how we would issue the penalty phase is new. Yep.
Is new,
That's
perfect, okay.
Good. Go ahead, David.
Go ahead, guys, okay, whatever.
Consideration of the resolution, okay.
Okay, motion to approve the action items as outlined.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilmember Dandoy?
Aye.
Councilmember Yeoman?
Aye.
Councilmember Beecraft?
Aye.
Councilmember Tafoya?
Aye.
Councilmember Hilton?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay.
We need to vote over the canvas, though. I need to show the results.
Next item is presentation and reports. Discussion on Patterson property.
We just need to show the results of the canvas on the action item.
Okay.
Okay,
You gonna do that here?
you want to do that?
Yes, so actually, I'm not going to show you that one first, just kidding. So this is just, the county provided us everything, so now that,
Can you zoom in a little bit, Amy?
yep.
I was like, none of us can read that.
What?
Come on.
We're a little far.
You?
Nope.
Go to Zoom. Bottom right hand, bottom, right at the bottom. Right there.
Oh, that's better.
Is that better?
That's
Yes,
better.
thank you.
Good job.
So, we have 13,660 active voters. The ballots returned and counted were 3,737. 591 ballots were returned to the county undeliverable, and 38 ballots were not counted. The reasons for not being counted were a late postmark, 8 were unsigned, 17 the signature did not match.
Oh.
So these are now the official. Election results. So it didn't change much. The same people that made it through to the general still are in for the general.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
Okay, the next item then, having that is presentation and reports, discussion on the Patterson property. Southeast corner, 6,000 south, 4,300 west. Steve, do you have that?
I think Andy's going to take it, but I've got a little thing on it.
Do we have anybody here with Patterson property?
But I know.
Steve, why don't, let me just, I'll just lead off for a minute here. Apparently, we've got a request for either service of this area. It's part of Hooper right now, and they'd like to be brought in, or they'd like to either have Roy's services. Roy City, staff believes that if they're going to get our services, especially because of some stormwater issues, they should be a part of the city. So there's a couple of things that could be done. They could de-annex and annex in. It's possible there's as Councilmember Dandoy mentioned, there's a possibility of a boundary adjustment between the cities is an alternative too. But I think primarily they would like to know whether Roy would be willing to bring them into the city should they de-annex. Isn't that one of the questions here, Steve? Okay, shoot. What's the
Is
question?
this the same couple as last meeting?
No.
Okay.
So I've got a slide on which ones it is. So as you see, and sorry, I can't make that bigger.
We're okay, color, we can
Okay.
see color.
The
We're
yellow
good.
area is
So
Hooper.
the yellow area is Hooper City, and the aerial itself is Roy, except for below, south of the blue line is Clinton, just so we're kind of there. Just so everybody knows, Roy City owns 6,000 South. So in essence, we do have 3 islands of Hooper City in Roy City. So when it comes to annexation and stuff, and they, don't want to create islands, it already exists.
Well, so the definition then would be is, since Roy owns 6,000, those, I think there's about 6 properties right there, they are in fact islands today, is that correct?
Yep, we wouldn't, or whoever annexed in wouldn't be creating an island. They got created a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, okay.
Now granted, we'd love Hooper to own half this road and take care of it and maintain it, but they don't.
Okay.
So a couple weeks ago, we had a couple that came in, and this is the property they wanted to know if Roy would be interested in annexing in. The council told staff to go ahead and write a letter saying we'd consider it and go on forward. The property that's being asked today is this one. And what they're doing is they've gone ahead and gone through Hooper City to get subdivision approval, but they have to get Roy City water services and Roy City stormwater services. Originally, it was also for sewer, but they were able to finagle it to go directly to North Davis Sewer District, so they don't have to go through Roy City to get the sewer. Hooper City doesn't have any services down there. Hooper Water is not down there, only Roy City itself. I do have a memo that I need to pass out.
Do those services exist or don't exist?
Roy City services exist on that road.
Okay.
In fact, the 6 properties that on the north of 6,000 are connected to Roy City Water
Okay, okay.
and stormwater and sewer and what have you. So they're already, being,
So that infrastructure's already there.
excuse me?
So, okay.
Yeah, those homes are already there, people are living in it, they just are now part of Hooper City. So the memo that's being passed around is from Mark Miller, because we've been asked by the developer to see if the council is willing to provide water services and stormwater. Water is nothing that we haven't done before, we've provided elsewhere, so it's nothing that couldn't be done. The concern is the stormwater. Because of the area, we have flooded the area down there before, and that's before this construction. So now you're going to get 32, 34 homes with all the pavement and concrete and stuff, which just adds more water because this was a farmland that didn't contribute to the stormwater. Now it will be contributing to. So Mark Miller typed up a memo just of his concerns for this. But however, staff also understands if the council wants to go ahead and provide, we'll just do what we need to do to make sure that nothing happens.
So in your opinion, Steve, what does Roy get out of this decision?
Really, double the money of water, and that's about it. Because once they connect in the stormwater system, I don't know how we could regulate a fee on that or anything other than when they connect into. But beyond that, it would be our system, maintain our water to bring in and control. Staff would really like to just tell the applicant, annex into Roy, you're not going to create an island because there already are there. And then
Okay.
once you're part of Roy, then we have to deal with it. Then we can upsize the water, the storm water, and then increase it up in Amaressa Park to accommodate.
And we're already entertaining, just east of there, we're already entertaining then.
Correct.
A proposal to annex that part into Roy because they want to go and do some subdevelopment in there as
Correct.
well.
Because again, they can't get sewer, they can't get stormwater, they can't get water, so they're looking to Roy to do that. So,
So are you looking for us to
Well, what the applicant
go
is
ahead with
looking-
the annexation?
what the applicant is looking for, you guys say yes, you'll
Yea or nay?
provide
Oh,
water
yeah.
and stormwater.
Okay.
If you say yes, and then we'll go ahead and let the applicant know. If you say no, annex into Roy, and this is a reason.
In reality, this is different from last week, because last week they want to come in, but these guys just want to go on the cheap
Well,
for the
Well,
development.
but it's
That's the
corporate
reality
that
of
wanted
it.
to
The
come.
land developer actually
Was not here.
originally wanted to come into Roy, but he knocked on the doors of 3 of the 6 people across the street, asked him, hey, I want to annex in. They said, you annex in, or even petition, we will sue you.
Yeah, but in reality, this is a
So he
development
stopped.
issue to keep the cost low for the developer, so he doesn't have to hook up everything to Hooper as he should.
That's what I
Well,
said.
Because he's in Hooper City property.
Right, but
That's
they
what-
don't have, they can't provide services.
Then he should annex like any other property does and follow that process.
But he's just looking to see if.
And we don't know if Hooper's willing to do that, because that's up to them. So he's kind of caught in between that, but when you do business, you have to deal with the business as part of it. So for me, the answer would be, no, we don't want you unless you want to annex into the city.
That's the way I feel.
That's the way I do it.
Looking for a vote?
And is that, let me just ask one question. So we're only talking that property, it's not the other ones across the street?
It is
Or does
not the
that
other ones-
annexation include the across the street also?
No.
No.
Okay.
Now, the same developer would be developing
That one too.
that parcel.
Okay, okay.
I think you got your direction there,
Yeah,
Steve.
with- no,
Okay, so I-
unless you annex in.
Annex into the city.
Okay.
So we won't
So-
provide services unless they annex
Right.
in, and it'll be up to him what process he
Yep.
wants to use.
Yeah, whether he does Hooper or Roy.
All I need. Try to make his argument, but make him mine as well.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next item, city manager's report.
Okay, a little bit of a list here, but I emailed you guys all an action item list that we're creating to put everything that we're working on that action item list. We'll be able to add to that action item list or take off depending on if we've completed it. So that's kind of a living, breathing document that we're all going to be able to see and update, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. Tomorrow, the mayor, Brad, Bob, Randy Sant, and I have a economic development meeting at 3:30, and we're going to talk a lot about the feasibility study from 5300 South going north to the Davis County line. We were supposed to have that last week, and Randy had something come up with the legislative meeting, so he was unable to attend, so we'll meet with him tomorrow. Yeah, they're here at
South of city
3:30.
limits?
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes
Yeah,
south from
53
Riverdale
south.
Road all the way down.
Yep. Thanks to Ross. Thanks to Ross, 4800 South, from the railroad tracks to the roundabout got striped this weekend. Joe Paul sent us an email, said, hey, will you kind of look into it? We was happy to look into it. So it is striped, it got striped on Sunday, and it basically stripes the road, so when you're going into the roundabout, you know which lane you're supposed to be in, so should be really good. Thanks to Travis and Ross, they removed 12 Russian olive trees along the Rio Grande Trail. And what those Russian olive trees were doing was lifting up people's property fence lines. So we had a few complaints, kind of working with the mayor and those two. We got those handled and taken care of, so it should be a good thing. Okay, do you guys remember the discussion we had? 5500 South, 4300 West. So tomorrow at 11, Ross has a meeting with UDOT and Wasatch Civil to come up with a game plan and plan on a timeline when we can expect that for the fall. So we are working on that. We will put that on that action item list so you guys all know where it's at. You guys excited for a town hall meeting Thursday? 6 o'clock at North Park. It actually should really be good. Hopefully we have a lot of things that you guys are gonna like.
I was like, yeah,
So Travis also sent me a third option that I sent all you guys for the playground equipment, which I really like it. It does the theme part of it, being a veterans park, combined with some of the other stuff with a splash pad. So we'll have pictures and all that for you Thursday so you can see it. But I think you're gonna love it. It looks way nice. It's time to just get going now. So
Last time we did this, Jason, we actually blew up some of the stuff and put them on the sides, or we
and we'll
just
have
did it
that. We'll have them
basically a
all along the
PowerPoint?
wall so people can walk
Okay.
and see it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
I think they like that better than just showing us on a PowerPoint, then they only see it once. They go
Right.
up and kind of absorb it. Okay.
Okay. Good news for tomorrow, the America First sale should go through. That's the wire transfer for the money for North Park. So hopefully we see that tomorrow. Okay, so the officer-involved shooting that we had in February, we are going to do a press conference later this week, or I think Carl said maybe Monday. But we're going to do a press release. The Irma attorneys have said it's time to get out in front of it, and we're going to disclose kind of a lot of what happens, a lot of still shots. So it should be really good information for the public and for all those that are interested in that. So it's time to get out and let people kind of know what happened and what's going on. So anticipate that later this week. It could be possibly Monday.
You know, just email each of us and let
Yes,
us know when that's taking
yes.
place. Thank you.
Yep.
Let me just ask, I think we're still waiting for the county to provide at least a decision on this. Is this correct?
Yep, that is correct. We did talk about that in staff meeting. We're still waiting from that for Weber County, but apparently we're also waiting for another cleared from 3 years ago, shooting from 3 years ago. So not sure where the delay's at, but having talked with the attorneys that represented us, they said it's, you know,
I know where the delay is. And it's not the county, it's with the state. So you've got to wait on those toxicology reports. And that takes forever getting their final information back. But the county's finished their job. They just can't make their decision until they finally get that.
Is that right?
And it takes forever, yeah. And in fact, I was on a committee, 20 years ago, where we were trying to get more money because we couldn't get our results back for DUIs. It'd take 6 months to a year at that time, so they doubled the staffing and put 2 people on down there. And apparently they still, can't. It just takes a long
Right,
time. So
yeah.
the county did their work a long time ago, but they can't issue anything until they get that final.
And the state
Final
has a
from the
terrible
state.
backlog when it comes to dealing with these issues. It's horrendous.
Right, and that's it.
Well, here's my reason for the comment. You got 2 officers who are involved, and until this chapter is closed, okay, officially, I can't help but think that they struggle, okay, wondering which way this situation is going to tip. I think we're doing really an injustice, okay, to them, in my opinion. So there's a human side to this conversation that puts them in a little bit more distress that they shouldn't have to be. I mean, I recognize the fact this takes time, but 3 years? I mean, does 10 years seem to be reasonable? At what point does this issue become pertinent enough that we say we're going to bring some peace or at least some calm to these officers who are involved in these terrible situations?
It's a state issue until that money is provided
Well-
to the state to run that through. They are back at work here. We've brought them back.
Yeah, but you agree with me is that the
I
state spends a
agree.
lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of money they throw away. I wonder if
We-
we'd better invest
We'd
it
love to see
somewhere
the money
else.
there, yes.
So would be bringing our legislating people into this discussion may help, because surely 2 of them reside right here close to Roy.
It'd be the statewide association of public attorneys could help on that, or the Utah Prosecution Council, also
Okay.
the police,
Police
the police
Association. I just think that
not used
there
to.
needs to be at least there's some opportunity for bring closure to some of this, and it just seems odd that we'd stretch this out so long knowing we got human lives involved in this process, so.
Yeah, we did talk about that in our staff meeting this morning as well, and he did say that those 2 have struggled with it, knowing that they're not cleared yet, and having been through counseling. So, yeah, it is unfortunate that it's taken so long, so.
Okay.
Sometimes when you get involved in these issues, it's going to take years to get resolution of them.
I just, Mayor, I just look at this and I say, I mean, these are good human beings. They're providing a service, and I heard a report from the deputy, Aaron, one time, and he says typically officers involved in these kind of events only stay within the police department for about 1.5 years and they leave. And it's kind of like that nightmare just doesn't come to an end when we as an organization don't, bring closure to this. I'm somewhat surprised. We spend a lot of money doing other things, but I'd surely put this one probably close to the top, in my opinion, of one of the important things that we owe to our civil servants. And I'm really quite surprised that it takes us so long, personally.
And that's not, can you give me clarification on how it actually works? I know it's a process, but I know there's an initial investigation, and then there's one that's supposed to say it was justified shooting or not, and then everything them out together? Is that how it works, or
Yeah,
what is the
yeah,
process?
and that's it. And then there's a part of it that deals with the state, so they're just wait for that last piece, but
What's the part, I don't understand the money part.
Well, it's the number of people who work for the state who can review these types of things. And so that gets, they have all their drug cases or just the toxicology that they have to review on so many different things. And back years ago, one of the issues that we were looking at is that, and it came from a defense point of view, that they weren't having their right to a speedy trial because we were waiting on all this information for so long to get it back from the state. So at that time, they increased the funding and they doubled the amount of people that were working in that area, and that helped. But I haven't been involved in there for years, and so, but apparently it's a continuing problem, and they really need to address that, I think, at the state level.
So has that initial investigation says it was justified shooting, has that been able to be said yet or not?
They can't comment, but.
Okay, so that's still what we're waiting on.
Yeah, yep.
Because I agree with Bob on that, because some of them you hear are boom, done within like a month
Yeah.
or so. So just make sure we stay on top.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, one last thing. Kathy, Andy, and I met with Zions and some of the underwriters for our water and sewer bond refinance is coming due in March 2018.
We can, yes.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is refinancing that to save, to a lower interest rate. So in next council meeting, we'll have some information for you on that we'll get out in a packet. Hopefully that's the start of the process that we can complete sometime this fall. But there's a series and a process, and so we'll start that next week. And that's all.
Okay, next item, mayor and council report. I want to compliment the staff and folks for the Roy Day celebration. I think this year we had an outstanding Roy Day celebration. And they worked very, very hard. The employees worked very hard over there. And so kudos to the staff, and Carly, you kind of headed that up off the council, and it was very, very well done. And I appreciate that. I also appreciate the work that the workforce is doing. We have a lot of old water lines in this city, and periodically as I'm driving through the city late at night, I find our crews are out there and they've got the backhoe out and they broke holes down the street. They're calling down those muddy holes and taking care of the problems and getting the water back on for the residents and taking care of the issues. So I really want to thank our public employees for the work that they've done. It's been during my tenure on the council, and that's been a little while. Roy City public employees have responded very well to the call, and so kudos to those folks. Council.
Well, I just want to say I am very pleased with what the youth did this last weekend. They cleaned up several areas, Airport Road and the roundabout, 4000 South Reservoir, Emma Russell Park. They did the sodding, and where's the other one?
Library, went to the library.
Library.
And then
also Harmon's.
And Harmon's. So Harmon's
Harmon's
is
is a hard one.
ready to go soon. We didn't get it yet today.
Didn't get done yesterday.
Utah Power, love them.
Okay, I will call Nolan.
I had a citizen call me about the dog park. Jason and I had talked about this already, but I better bring it up. They're going to come today and talk about this, but they live right across the street. They just purchased the house, okay? And at that house, apparently the lady that lived there before moved because of the dog park. She's got signs in 2 different areas saying, please clean up after your dogs, because what they're doing is they're coming in, they're parking along that curb.
Okay.
As soon as the dogs jump out of the car, the first thing they do is take care of business. But the owners aren't doing anything, and there's within 25 feet, both directions, bags that they could pick that up with and take care of it. The other issue that they had, and they said they've got pictures, they showed me pictures, and these guys that are usually parked will take their pets over because there's no shade. They'll lounge around and loiter in their yard under their shade trees with their pit bulls and their big dogs. And they're afraid to go out and say anything because they got dogs, you know. So he brought it to me and said, what can be done? We just moved in, we're not ready to move, and we really don't want to deal with this problem the whole time we live here. Can we red curb that area on one side of their property, or, I mean,
We've red curbed different areas because of parking issues and stuff. I don't see why, I mean, the side where the houses are and then keep the opposite
Right.
side, you know, around the dog park so that they can park there.
Yeah, hey Brad, why don't we do this? Why don't Andy, I'll take the police chief and Ross and I, and we'll go over there and we'll look at it and we'll come up with a game plan and what we can do. And then I'll just follow back up with you since you're kind of the point of contact, and we'll take care of it this week.
So a couple of options that I was just thinking about. I think it's a good service for the citizens. My mom lives down in that area, so I drive by it all the time to get to her house.
Is this on 5700 South?
It's the dog park,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's used constantly, like all the time. So I think it is a good service that we need to probably upkeep for the city. Is there any, and I don't own a dog, so I haven't like gone into the park. Is there any benches or anything that they can sit in? I mean, I don't know
there's
much
not,
about.
because it's really a retention pond that they're
Okay.
using as that. And so they don't want to get a lot of stuff in there.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
You know, so it's kind of a limited thing, it's a service, and even these people said, I don't want to see it go away. I think it's a great thing, and he says, we've actually watched some really pretty dogs over there,
So
and feel like it's a great service. They don't want to see it go away, but for heaven's sakes, they don't want to be cleaning up after all of
Was
them.
there signage?
Okay, so tell me a little bit, do we know a little bit of history about this? Because I thought it was made to be a dog park. So it sounds like it was a retention pond and then we just said,
No,
oh, we'll
when
just
we-
let the
yeah,
dogs
when we
go?
decided we need to find an open space at the time.
Okay.
On the regular parks, and that fit the description well.
Okay,
It was a big enough space to do as a detention pond,
okay.
and it was a location that we thought would work well.
So
We
because
didn't
of-
have to convert it.
So because of that, now we're limited. So we can't make it into the dog park that it maybe needs to be because we're limited because it is a detention pond. Okay.
We'll find out.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, we'll
Right, it
find
sounds
out.
like it's been a good service, and it is, and the only thing is, let's take care of the neighbors on the side. I think painting red would be a
Red,
good
stripe
first step.
it.
But go ahead and take a look, Jason.
Okay.
Maybe signage?
There are a lot of people that's been asking if the city's planning on doing any upgrades and that, but that's good to know that,
We can't.
I mean, I knew it was a retention basin, but. if
I thought it was,
can't
I
do
thought it was like, yeah.
You have a
That's the same
comment?
thing.
My wife uses it all the
They
time.
have a Roy City Facebook page. I could get something, post something on it. Most of the people that come meet at certain times and they're a group, and if you post something on their page saying that the neighbors are having trouble, please be courteous.
Oh, that's a good
A lot of
idea.
them would probably have no problem with it.
That's perfect.
That's what the city
That's a great
attorney was just
idea.
saying too, so we'll
Okay.
Anything
handle it.
positive, like we could even
Yeah.
put a garbage can out there because they're leaving their trash in
Yeah.
their yard
Yeah,
too.
where,
Ideas, Ogden City has an amazing dog park.
that's where they probably built it for that purpose.
It's a little bigger, so
Yeah.
it has little even sections. So if you've got a movie dog for that day or whatever, you can kind of wander off into a different part, and it's really nice.
Can we look at,
Well,
I was gonna say somewhere else in the city and we improve it or something?
No, actually, I know we provide the service right
It
now.
is.
and I live across the street from the park, and the park gets used by people walking their dogs. So every park we do, it's not an official dog park, but it's a park. And every animal is treated fair. It's really an owner thing, and that's what it comes down to, is the owner taking care of their pet.
Can some of the bags and stuff we put on the outs, are they in the inside or the outside of the fencing? The cleanup bags?
They're on the inside, but they're very
Inside.
accessible. They're right on the entranceway, so you can reach around the corner and go.
Okay, well, needless to say, people, that's not convenient, I guess, for some people. So can something be on the outside then too? Can we add something? So it's more
Still, it's
convenient,
across
I
the
guess?
street. They're not gonna walk across the street and do that.
Well, you have the same thing on
unless
that
the parking is over there.
detention
Yeah, that's
basin
the
down there on
parking.
5600. You have the same problem.
Yeah,
They They go in there, they walk their dogs around.
But let me get with you,
dog
Jason,
messes,
and Ross and Travis and.
Yeah, we'll get together and go
See
look,
what
and
we can do.
we'll check too, but we may not own that piece of property, we just lease it through Rocky Mountain Power, so we'll find out.
Exactly. And that could be another reason why we can't approve it.
Yeah.
Prove it.
One other thing, and Joe can maybe attest to this, but since I've had my surgery, I've been walking down M. Russell quite frequently, and the parking lot coming off of 4300, we got a sprinkler that is just continuously running, and it's now got moss across the sidewalk. If you got moss on that sidewalk, you're looking for trouble, somebody slipping on that or something. It seems to me like it should be an easy fix of replacing that sprinkler.
Yeah, I'll get
or
with
something.
Travis and we'll get it fixed.
Yeah, that, and then on the other end, on the south end on 4300,
Okay?
and this morning, and I don't know if you noticed this too, but it's like a used car parking lot down there. And I think it's the townhomes across the street that are parking there.
On the south end of
The
43?
south end of the park, 43, and two of them.
So it's on the east side of 4300, but on the south end of the
Right.
park, and it
Yeah.
is, it's a lot of those people that live in those townhomes.
Townhomes, you know, they've got room to park 3 cars in each townhome, but yet there's like, what, 8, 10 cars parked on the east side, and 2 of them this morning were parked in red parking curbs.
One of the other dilemmas, I don't know if you noticed, on the south end of the park, the roots have grown through
The
the
walking
asphalt, and they're raised up quite a bit. I've actually seen a couple of people trip walking through there. I don't know how you're gonna take care of that. I don't know if you can cut the roots out. and
It's
patch
looked
up
to
the
me
asphalt.
like they patched that before, where they tore in a section out, took those roots out, and then repatched.
But there, I mean, there's a couple of them that are.
Even
really
higher
high.
than that, I know.
Where's that at?
That's
On
down
the
in Russell.
south side
South
of,
side.
on the
We can
south
go
side
take
of
a
the
drive.
park.
I
Let's go drive.
Have him do
Take
the
a walk and
walking
I'll show you.
path.
The red curb, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, the paint is faded in that area, and it could be repainted. It's right close to the corner, it's more for the corner there than.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not sure that parking across the street overnight 24 hours is illegal to park. I think that's legal.
Yes,
at
it
this point.
is.
Yeah, so not much we can do about that, but the red striping for sure. Red parking, we can take care of that.
The only thing illegal about it is probably wearing that shirt.
You can't walk.
I'm glad to see the city striped a crosswalk right there.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, they just did the sidewalk and put a crosswalk there. Yeah, that was
A little
good.
bit more, I know when they first opened that up all the way, there was a lot more traffic control with the police. There's cars, now that that's open, they think it's a runway.
Yeah. So, but that's all I had on comments.
Okay, the next item, folks, is to adjourn from our city council meeting and go into a redevelopment agency.
Mayor, can I suggest that we do the RDA first before we do that? Then that way we don't have to come back in after that. I motion that we go out of council meeting, reconvene in our development agency meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now in the RDA meeting. We have our other hats on. And the first item is welcome all of you to the redevelopment agency meeting. And the council is now no longer the city council, we are the redevelopment agency. Consent items is approval of May 2nd, 2017 redevelopment agency minute. Are there any corrections to be made to those minutes? Entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, I motion we approve the minutes for May 2nd, 2017 redevelopment agency.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved. The minutes. Next item, consideration of resolution number RDA 17-4 authorizing representatives of the redevelopment agency to transact business on accounts at Zion's First National Bank.
Motion approved resolution number RDA 17-4.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, so roll call vote, please.
Board Member Hilton,
Aye.
Board Member Tafoya,
Aye.
Board Member Beecraft,
Aye.
Board Member Yeoman,
Aye.
Board Member Dandoy.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Entertain a motion for adjournment of the RDA meeting and return to the Roy City Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're now back in the Roy City Council meeting.
Motion to go into closed door session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to go into a closed door meeting. That will be held.
Mayor, we've got to state the reason for it, though.
Yes.
So
Okay.
part of the motion.
The reason to go into the closed door meeting will be to discuss character and competence of an individual, and this meeting will be in the council chambers, administrative council chambers across the hall.
Still motion is that.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to go into executive closed door meeting. All in favor?
Roll call vote.
Aye.
Roll call.
All roll call.
Councilmember Yeoman,
Aye.
Councilmember Dandoy,
Aye.
Councilmember Tafoya,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilton,
Aye.
Councilmember Beecraft.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We are now out of the council meeting, going to the closed session.